Good morning. It is the 60 Seconds to Serenity with Gregg Hammond, and it is Thursday, January 11, 2018. There's some significance to those numbers. If you know anything about numbers, it is an interesting thing. And if you know something about those numbers, about the significance of today being the 11th of January in 2018, go ahead and put that information, put it in the comments. Or if you have insight, I'd love to see discussion about things like that, right? It's awareness. It's just awareness building tools, awareness of our environment and the world we live in. At the 60 Seconds to Serenity, we are using all of our higher faculties, our higher mental faculties. We're tying that together with our breathing, right? The breath of the slow and calm, serene breath to keep our mental faculties, our higher faculties, our affirmations tied in with something that we're doing all the time. Physically, we're breathing. And slowing your breath down and taking the time. You're focusing in on breathing just for 1 minute, 60 seconds, to take that time, that window of time, that 1 minute, to bring yourself to a place of the calm, peaceful mind. And we're working on writing out the Serenity chapter, the chapter titled Serenity, from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. It's a great audio book for you to listen to and have available for you to listen throughout the day, right? At different times. It's a short book, but that chapter is very powerful, talking about how serenity and the calmness of mind is a jewel, and I call it a superpower, because if you have that calmness of mind, you have the ability to respond, and when you can respond to things going on in your day, you remain in control as opposed to giving that power away. We're also working on, well, first I want to go back to that gratitude list. The breathing exercise is teamed up with all of our gratitude, the gratitude list. Each day writing down 10 things. And I started into, focusing on that. I started talking about that again. I have talked to you about this a few times, right? We've been sharing, and I've seen in the notes that there's always some comments about how this works for somebody and how it's helped them and what they specifically do, because sometimes somebody's insight, their own particular thing, is helpful to us as a community, right? And this is about giving back to the community. This is me sharing what I've learned over my life through many teachers and many readings, many many things that I've read, and how that's helped me live a much better life and be where I am today. So I'm sharing that as a way to give back. A little bit of water. Really good to stay hydrated, right? And we've talked about that, and I add things to my water because I like to have a little bit of nutrients in my water while I'm consuming the water, but I don't want all those other things that go in there, the things that aren't quite as good for your body, sugars and different colorings and preservatives and things like that. So staying hydrated, really important. Keep the water, keep your brain lubricated. That's just in the sense of the water going into your cells and keeping you healthy. So the thing about focusing on gratitude in each one of these things, on my list I have places, I have people, and I have things. So it might be something like my bicycle. It might be something like having your hammock out hanging over the water in a place where where there's a beach. It might be your coffee cup. It might be your water bottle. It might be your guitar. It could be clothes that you have to wear. It could be people that you get to interact with, that you get to have a phone call with, or somebody that you get to do a video chat with, or somebody that you get to sit down at the kitchen table with and enjoy their company. So the list can be all kinds of things. And as you're writing down on your list each day, you want to take a little bit of time to focus on why. The why behind each thing that you're putting on your gratitude list. If it is time with somebody, what is it that's special about the time that you get with that person? If it's something like the water bottle was an example, just having a container that I can take filtered water in the car when I'm traveling around, or just throughout my day if I'm on my bike, I have this in my backpack, and I have clean drinking water, which is amazing. It's fantastic to be able to have that wherever I go. So I think about the fact that I can take that water and stay hydrated everywhere that I go. I don't have to go long periods of time without having water. And if I do that, I stay healthy. I stay hydrated, and I'm able to have sustained energy. I'm able to think clearly. Long term, my body is going through its process that it needs to go through to eliminate and clear things out of my body, whether it's things like breathing exhaust from being in a city, or whether it's food that had chemicals and things like that. My body is constantly being able to cleanse itself because I have plenty of clean, fresh water. I filter mine. If you're interested in filtering your water and you want more information, just leave me a message, send me a message, and I'll get you some information. And we're doing all of these things, or thinking about our gratitude, focusing on what it is specifically, because we want to become the change, right? We want the world to be improved all the time. It's easy to take a look out there, and there's plenty of postings and plenty of things in the news that will charge you up and get you in a low vibration negative, right? And you want to stay in a high vibration and keep yourself up there. Using 60 seconds to Serenity tools, all the stuff we've been going over will make that happen faster and more consistently for you. An affirmation of the health, right? We're talking about affirmations. You go through your gratitude. It's gratitude and being thankful for those things that are written on your list. And then I was talking about the affirmation of health here. Repeating this over and over every day, or if you'd like to add this in, writing this out, right? Take a screenshot of this. Maybe somebody has already taken a screenshot, right? And they've typed it in there, perhaps. Somebody could do that for a little community here if they want to type that in. Another thing you can do is, if you had a screenshot of that, you can read it into the comments, and then it'll put that on there. So daily affirmation of health, right? It's interesting because if you repeat things over and over, you might seem like you're saying them over and over, but you become more connected to those words that you're saying. That's why repetition is part of one of those things that helps you do anything, whether it's trying to get in shape and toned up, whether if you're trying to achieve something such as in yoga, they get into the push-up position, which they call plank, and hold that for a long time. And if you're trying to achieve longer duration of time on that, or you're trying to get in, you're doing exercise. A lot of people really focus on their exercise, physical exercise, at the beginning of the year. Maybe you're on the treadmill trying to, hit certain numbers. The more times that you do it, the closer you get to that goal, and then you can make goals that are further out, right? So the repetition is really important. If you're up for a 90-day challenge, I will tell you that that's good news, because your life just got a whole lot easier for doing a 90-day challenge. I can help you with that. If you're interested, I'll send you information. The repetition, reading something over and over, right? And that's why I popped this up a few times to talk about what happens when you're reading that, when you're writing out your gratitude. You might put down the same thing that you put on your gratitude list every other day. It might be the same thing. It might be that you're really focused on the fact that you have a kitchen table where everybody can sit down, or maybe you are really focused on, like I said, the water bottle. Maybe it's your transportation. It could be the backpack that you're able to put things in for your kids to be able to go to school so that they can take everything that they need. It could be books. It could be the garden, the indoor garden that you're tending to. It might be that you received a gift from somebody, and that's something that's on your list because you realize so many other things that connect to that, right? And it's about the concentric rings of things. When you're improving your life, you're sending out a concentric ring. Just like when you toss a stone into a pond and you see those ripples go out, it's the same effect. Those ripples go out to the edge and they come back and hit again, and it can be beyond the perception of your vision to see that, but those waves are still going. And so everything from the things that you say or actions that you take all send out the concentric rings, and it's like circles within circles, right? There's another one, and then I have to make another one appear, right? Stretching into the world of the unseen to get a bigger one and get that to reverse in this camera like that. So it's circles within circles within circles, and if you look around in your environment, you'll see that this type of thing is happening all the time. Circles within circles within circles. They're concentric rings going out and coming back. And so as you improve yourself, and it's through the repetition, and you're saying things like these, like the daily affirmation, right? And something like, we must become the change, right? We are becoming the change by doing this. And the empowering statements, I've shared these before. Good morning. I see people from all over the United States are tuning in, and also from Australia and the UK and Ireland. I can kind of see that sometimes, but my focus is on doing this, so I can't always look in there and see these comments. But good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, and I know it's late at night in a couple of places. I'm happy that you're here. These statements: I am healthy, I am happy, I am helpful, I live in paradise, because we talk about the mindset being paradise, right? And my memory is very good. That's a very empowering statement to replace the potentially, maybe you have disempowering. Maybe you've discovered those in these 60 seconds to Serenity morning videos that I've been doing. Perhaps you've noticed, as your awareness built up, as you've done these exercises, these are all small little exercises, right? It starts to add up. Maybe you notice your awareness is peaking, is starting to come up and grow, just like your vibrations coming up. Maybe you've noticed your awareness is lifting and becoming more expansive, and things are coming into your awareness. You're like, wow, I never really noticed that I did that, right? That's the idea, is that we're preparing for an amazing growth that's going to happen. We're preparing the soil of our garden. We're preparing it by doing these exercises, the 60 seconds to Serenity. So we talked about writing out the gratitude list. We talked about the affirmations that you're saying to yourself. As you say this, what happens is, as you do that, a very powerful thing, your thoughts, as you're thinking them, those are your higher mental faculties, and that is what you have as a part of your superpower of the calm mind, is to focus on particular things. And as you're doing these repetitions, as you're saying the things over and over, you begin to see these things come into your life. You become aware, right? Your awareness builds up, and the perception of, hey, these things are starting to show up in my life, right? More of the things that would make you healthy, whether it's ways to prepare meals, whether it's products that are much better for you to have. Maybe it's information on something that you should eliminate. One of those things that is in a lot of people's lives is like a whole bunch of extra stuff to put into a coffee drink. I have a cup of coffee, but over time, the amount of coffee that I consume and the desire that I have is decreasing, right? And I'm always finding more nutritious things to add in, and putting the nutritious stuff in starts to shift your body, right? The interior of your body, all the cells communicating, start to have all this nutrients, and they're not starving and trying to get something that's basically a quick boost of sugar, which happens from a lot of the food that we have out there available to buy quickly, or that stores on the shelf for a long time, has a lot of additives, and one of the main ingredients is corn syrup or a sugar, and your body gets used to going up quick like this, boom, 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 having that sugar bring you up. And because there is so much sugar in so many different things, you basically become addicted to it without knowing that that's actually what's happening. And then you feel like, oh, my energy's bad, or I feel tired, and you're not sure what's going on. And it's potentially, and you can check with your doctor about this, it is potentially dehydration, the element of dehydration of not having enough water, and also from having too much corn syrup, too much sugary things. And so the more that you can reduce that and make the shift, the healthier you're going to feel, and the healthier you will be. And repeating an affirmation of your daily health like this, right, that starts to draw in your awareness and open your awareness up to other things that are healthy. And so that's why you want to make statements like that and repeat them and focus on that, right, and have empowering statements. And we're doing the non-dominant hand exercise, and I showed this the other day, right? This is from last year. This is from last December. I was doing the 90-day run, and I do series of 90 days, 330-day sessions all together on reading something. If it's something, sometimes I'm reading with mastermind groups, sometimes I'm reading with particular people, and I have people that I'm coaching that I work with, and specifically we have different things. So 90 days is a nice block of time, right? And it also can coincide, it's nice when your 90-day block of time coincides with the seasons, a natural flow of our environment, right? You look out into your environment and you notice there is generally a natural flow of things going on, and the way things they grow, the way that the cycles shift depending on where it is on the planet, those cycles, right? So if you follow something like that, 90 days, it's a quarter, it's between solstice. You can think about it from seasons. With we're in the winter right now, right? We're in a time where in the U.S. on the East Coast where I am, it is the winter season, and that is also the United States. You think about how the patterns change with that. If you're paying attention to that, you'll notice that there is a symphony of things happening, but you really have to heighten your awareness and pay attention to a lot of details. And part of doing 60 Seconds of Serenity is taking those bite-sized bits of time to do that, right? To enhance your awareness, to raise your vibration, to take control by responding to things, and then paying attention as you're saying these affirmations, you're writing things out, and you're doing your reading. You are boosting and raising your awareness, and by doing that you start to notice smaller details, like the whole symphony that's going on around you with nature, right? And you just become an observer of things going on. So that non-dominant hand exercise expanded from when we started in October. It expanded out, and we added more and more and more, and now it's up to 2 paragraphs. and the paragraph is in the comments of many of these 60 seconds to Serenity videos. And then to write out something new, right? You could write the daily affirmation. That's a great one to write out. You don't have to do a non-dominant hand, but it's just writing this out so that your mind is covering all of this information. And I'm sure that somebody's probably posted that in there. And then the Serenity chapter, if you want to write that out, it usually takes 2 pages, right? And I recommend that you do it and you write down the date and the time, like to see. The part of it is you're tracking yourself. You're tracking when is it that you're able to sit down. You might notice that there's a pattern. Like maybe you do it every single morning, which is a great thing to add into your routine. Maybe you do it every afternoon when you have a particular time of a break, on a lunch break, or on a afternoon break. Maybe it's on a commute. If you're sitting on a train, you write it out like that in the train, or maybe it's a bus, or maybe it's at the time when you've finished your last meal of the day and you've decided not to turn on a television. I haven't had a television in my house, in this castle here in DC. I haven't had it anywhere, a TV, in a long, long time. It just was I just never found a lot of value. And then I realized that people that I knew were spending hours, and they had to turn on the TV and they had to focus on what show is on, and I was like, that just, how do you practice an instrument? How do you spend time enjoying a book? How do you get out for a walk if you're spending a lot of time and money on cable or satellite or Netflix or things like that tend to take up a whole lot of time and put a whole lot of stuff into your mind that you might not want in there. And the thing was, I realized that when I watched TV shows, they always just had stuff that I was like, I don't really, that's not something I want to watch. And some of it had to do with just where my awareness was of the life that I had growing up, that I knew that I wanted to really focus and have my experience and my time, the choices that I would make was to do things that were enjoyable, and make everything that I was doing an enjoyable thing to do. Whether I was digging a ditch or lifting heavy concrete blocks, or whether I was in a restaurant waiting tables, washing dishes. I started to make a list. I have done over 40 different occupations before I finally just said, I'm tired of trying things to see if that's gonna work. I just decided finally I'm going to do what I want to do. I have to determine that, make sure that is what I wanted to do, and then do it and start to do it. And we'll talk more about that. That's the idea, is that we're planting these seeds, right? We've been working on just getting the calm, serene mind, because it's a superpower, and establishing that. And then as we keep going forward, we're talking about adding all these things in, and to focus on what it is that is very empowering for you to do for yourself, and then to give back in the world. And this video that I do every Monday through Friday now, it was the 7 days a week. If you want to go check some of those, they'll be on my timeline, and then eventually we'll have the YouTube series set up there so you can just watch them and go through. This is my give back. This is me saying I'm giving this to as many people. What a fantastic thing. In my mind, I thought this would be a fantastic thing if I could just share this kind of information all over the place. I mean, there are other people doing it, which is amazing. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it. It means that I am supported by other like-minded people sharing this. But and speaking of sharing, you can share this everywhere. But I wanted to be able to give back, and what a fantastic thing that it is possible for me to do this and broadcast around the entire globe. It was a concept in my mind, thinking about doing that, because I wanted to do it with the Global Jam for Peace, and that I was, thinking, wouldn't that be cool if I had a way to do something similar to this? This level of broadcast was just part of the little bit of the idea, right? And now here it is, and I'm able to do this. Anyway, I should hop off of here and get going with some more of the exercises that I'm doing here, and get out for a nice stroll through some of the nature. Even though it's city, there are trees, there are a lot of things that I can go through and see a natural element to where I live, and you can do the same thing. So with that, write out your affirmations, do your 60 seconds to serenity tools, use your tools to keep yourself in a calm and serene mind. Stay healthy, think healthy, be healthy. Peace, love, and music to you. I will see you tomorrow, Friday, and have a great day.